Have you ever heard of the minimal facts argument? If you haven't, I'm telling you about it in this video. I think this is an important thing to understand when it comes to distinguishing specifically fact from fiction in the New Testament, but also, in distinguishing and understanding, how we can interpret history, how we can interpret historical data and soundly rooted historical data versus just hearsay or maybe mythology or other folktale that are written surrounding historical events, or maybe just made up straight out of nowhere. So this is these are four minimal facts when it comes to the New Testament surrounding Jesus's life and the following ministry after his life. And it's so powerful, I think, in making a case for the New Testament not only being an accurate source of historical information, but also making the case for what Jesus said to be the truth, and for his resurrection to be soundly rooted historical event. A soundly, we can confirm with confidence that Jesus rose from the dead, I think, based on these four historical points. So I'm going to give it to you right now. First of all, whether atheist, whether agnostic, whether Christian of any denomination or Catholic, it doesn't matter. The scholars, when it comes to New Testament scholarship, will agree across the board when it comes to the fact that Jesus died on a crucifix under Pontius Pilate. There's historical data for Pontius Pilate being in that area and being the overseer in that area in the time of Jesus's life, outside of the New Testament. And Tacitus, who wrote the Annals, he's pretty much the most famous Roman historian, also includes the fact that Jesus was executed under Pontius Pilate. And so Josephus also mentions his execution, as well as, I think there's more extra biblical, outside of the New Testament that mentions. So basically, scholars will agree across the board almost 100% that Jesus died on the crucifix. Now, unfortunately, the Quran teaches that Judas was put in Jesus's place and that Jesus did not die on the crucifix. The Quran was written centuries after the New Testament, and it makes this claim with no historical basis. So some scholars who believe in the Quran will not agree that Jesus died on the crucifix. The other fact is that the grave was found empty soon after, and even in the New Testament, it's recorded that the Pharisees at the time were telling people that the disciples stole the body. And there's also extra biblical information to help us conclude that the grave was indeed empty. And across the board, modern New Testament scholarship, they agree that the New Testament, or that the grave was empty. It was a famous person's grave, pretty much a very rich man and well-known man's grave in Jerusalem, and there were Roman guards posted. So grave was found empty. And whether it be atheist, agnostic, or Christian, or whatever scholarship or scholar belief, they will agree that the disciples of Jesus, soon after his execution, believed that they had seen Jesus risen from the dead in some form. I worded that very carefully because not every scholar believes that Jesus even was there. Not every scholar believes that Jesus rose from the dead. Not every scholar will believe that the disciples saw Jesus in a physical form. The New Testament clearly records that, but not every scholar will believe. Some scholars believe it was hallucination. I think that there's plenty of information and data to conclude that it was not a mass hallucination, and mass hallucinations do not happen really. So that's the other fact. And the last fact is that the disciples were executed for their faith, and they were very impassioned and preached this message soon after they believed that they saw Jesus risen from the dead in some form. Thanks for watching this video. Stay blessed. This is the minimal facts argument.